You know how every office has that one wild story that sounds like a total urban legend? The kind you hear at orientation and think, yeah, right, that definitely didn't happen. Well, at our tech firm, that story is 100% true, and it involves our CEO, a guy named Marcus, who decided he wanted to see how the real employees lived. Marcus was the classic visionary leader. He spent his days in glass-walled offices on the top floor, usually dealing with shareholders or investors. But one Monday, he vanished. No one knew where he went. His assistant just said he was working remotely. Meanwhile, a new temp shows up in the accounting department. His name was Mark. He was wearing a plain gray sweater, thick-rimmed glasses, and he was painfully awkward. He kept asking questions like, so, do we all think the break room coffee is actually sludge, or is that just me, and what's the one thing you'd change about this place, if you were in charge? For 5 days, Mark sat in a cubicle between Sarah and Dave. He messed up the spreadsheets, he caused a minor disaster with the photocopier, and he spent his entire lunch break listening to everyone complain about the management. Sarah, who is famously blunt, spent the entire week venting to him. She told him exactly why the new software update was a complete disaster, why the office culture felt like a corporate prison, and that the CEO was probably a robot who didn't know what a real desk looked like. Mark just nodded, typed everything into his little notebook, and kept his head down. On Friday, at exactly 4 in the afternoon, the intercom crackled. The executive assistant announced, could everyone please gather in the main atrium for an urgent meeting. We all shuffled into the lobby, grumbling about losing an hour of our Friday. And then, out from the back office walks Marcus, our CEO. He's wearing his expensive suit, looking every bit the high-powered executive. But wait, he's wearing the exact same thick-rimmed glasses as Mark. The room goes dead silent. You could have heard a pin drop. Sarah, standing right next to me, turns pale. She looks at the CEO, looks at the empty cubicle, and whispers, "Oh my God." Marcus walks to the podium, takes a deep breath, and says, "I've spent the last week sitting in accounting. I've learned that our coffee is indeed terrible, and that Sarah is absolutely right about the software." He then proceeded to list off every single complaint we'd made that week. He didn't fire anyone. Instead, he announced that the software was being rolled back on Monday, the coffee machine was being replaced, and he officially made Sarah the head of the Operations Improvement Committee. It was the most bizarre day in the history of the company. To this day, whenever a new person starts, we're all super nice to them, just in case they're secretly the boss. It turned our office culture upside down. We stopped worrying about the big boss, and started feeling like our voices actually mattered. And Sarah? She's still in charge of the committee. She's the only person in the building who can look the CEO in the eye and say, "Mark, that's a bad idea." And the crazy part? He actually listens.